Like I said, we can introduce ourselves. Never can tell. There might just be somebody here looking for your profile. Thank you, Dr. Lady. Thank you, Kuke, researcher at the University of Leicester, awesome, UK. And our president is here also, president of Images Initiative, Dr. Lawale Olaide. Please let's have more introduction from others. And I hope within 5 minutes, our guest speaker will be able to deal with the technical issue and probably join on his phone. So again, just to give you a tip of the iceberg, we'll be looking at areas of focus will include technology and ecological innovations, related to the topic we're discussing, indigenous forest conservation, innovations in building resilience to climate change. We'll be looking at indigenous knowledge systems. I don't want to go into the background of our guest speaker now until he's here. Hopefully, you'll join like in another 3 minutes. We'll be also exploring sustainable forest business models with a case study spotlight in a way, on Oyo State's government's role in forestry innovation. Originally, we wanted to make this something from the government's perspective, the state's perspective. We've always had academia, entrepreneurs, professionals, foresters. Last year, it was a forester from ITA. So we just initially, the idea was to let's even hear from the state government, especially of Oyo State, a representative, so that we can get to have some glimpse into the policies around tree conservation, indigenous trees, forest afforestation, and all that, greening of the cities, because a lot is happening. So, our guest speaker would shed a bit of light on that too, because he's worked, in different capacity locally and globally. Thank you. More introductions. My name is Benjamin. I work on climate action projects, and I am currently a graduate student in sustainable development practice at the Global Affairs and Sustainable Development Department of Osun State University. Thank you so much. That was a powerful one. More introductions, please. Let's get to know you. Thank you. And then we'll also look at community engagement and youth initiatives centered on afforestation. Personally, I realize that we don't have as much youth. Thank God for platforms like COP Africa Images Initiative. We don't have as much initiatives and program driving and truly empowering young people to lead, this change, this conservation efforts. Usually around, other activities around the SDGs, but, greening of cities and all that intentionally at this scale, we usually don't have it. So that's why I'm also excited about that point, that perspective. Then we'll also be looking at, oh, awesome. He's here now. Okay. Hello, Dr. Ladipo. Can you hear me, sir? Hello, Dr. Ladipo, sir. Can you hear me, sir? You're on mute in case you are speaking, sir. You may have to unmute your microphone, sir. He's probably trying to mute. Hello, Dr. Ladipo, if you can hear me, you are still on mute. You would have to unmute your microphone if you are speaking. So just give you maybe another 1 minute. Okay, so another important information at the end of every webinar under Images Initiative across the department, we'll send you a certificate of participation. So please drop your names the way you want your names on your certificates. Please kindly do that. Your names and email So the certificate e-copy will be mailed to you for participation. Thank you. So kindly drop your full names, the way you want it on your certificate, and your email as well. Thank you. We're still waiting for you can hear me, Dr. Ladipo, sir. You can unmute your mic.
That's what we are doing now.
I can hear you loud and clear, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, sir. So we are excited to have you on board, sir. Sorry about the technical glitch. I mean, this digital era, it's something that we've gotten used to. So without further ado, I would want to, as quick as possible, introduce our guest speaker. Just pull up it. Okay. So once again, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining. I want to use this moment to thank specially our president of Images Initiative, Dr. Laide, for this privilege to be the anchor, of this powerful section. I was humorously telling myself when we talked about garden last week, because it was food, I think people turned up. Who doesn't want to access food? So, I mean, maybe this is now about trees, indigenous trees, it's looking like cultural things and all that. So, but I mean, even trees provide us, in fact, a whole lot of food, to us, to animals. I mean, much more benefit to our planet, to our environment. So I hope others will still join. So I'll just quickly introduce our guest speaker. Dr. David Ladipo obtained a BSc, Special Honors Botany, from the University of Lagos, Nigeria in 1974. So when I first saw that, I mean, I calculated my age. I'm like, I'm still stepping up. And a PhD in forestry from the University of Edinburgh, Scotland, UK in 1981. And I asked myself, what were my parents thinking in 1981? Because I wasn't around then. He was a research officer at the Forestry Research Institute of Nigeria, FRAIN, from 1975, where he was a part of the UK-funded West Africa Hardwood Improvement Project, WAIP, working on the West African hardwood, Triprochiton, scleroxylon, Obeche, and Casecum, concentrating on range-wide germplasm collection, progeny variation studies, and clonal vegetative propagation studies. Over 3,000 seed accessions were collected in the project, 3,000, stored in the gene bank, and variation studies carried out to identify desirable plus tree candidates. In between project work in Nigeria, clonal experimental work were being carried out in Nigeria. Onigambari Forest Reserve, for those of us who know Onigambari Forest Reserve, with the team deploying over 150 clonal materials. He joined ICRAF IITA in 1980 as agroforestry multipurpose tree expert, where over 900 seed accessions of various MPTs were collected and banked for screening for agroforestry use in West Africa. He retired in Cameroon in 1996 to return home to establish CENRAD, which is Center for Environment, Renewable Natural Resources Management, Research and Development, on Indigenous R&D and consulting organization. He is still Executive Director and CEO of CENRAD. With a sounding applause, we can use the emoji. I'd like to welcome Dr. David Ladipo. Thank you, sir. It's a pleasure to have you. Oh, yeah. Probably sounding applause.
Thank you very much for bringing me on to talk to you. I'm sorry that I'm getting on late. We wanted to have it in the garden, then the rain started, then we rushed in, and then we are out again because it didn't work inside the house. So it's working now. So this is fine. The title of my presentation is Indigenous Forest Conservation and Innovations.
Hello, is it
Huh? Put this on.
so asking if you see her?
Can I go on the slides?
Yes, sir. But if you are presenting, we can't see a slide.
Hmm.
You would have to share it, sir. You're already a host. Yes, you're a host, sir. So you can share your slides, sir.
Okay. Okay.
I'd love to share.
Can you see my slides?
Not yet, sir. Not yet, sir. So while we're waiting for Dr. Ladipo to bring the slides up, thank you for those who have dropped their names. Is this have others drop their
Wait,
emails
I did not see the.
and the way they want their names on the certificate? Thank you. So if it is also possible, Dr. Ladipo, while you are trying to share it, if you can also maybe send it to me.
Okay.
Maybe we would also be able to share it from here if there are issues of
Okay.
sharing from your
Sure.
end.
No, let me send it to you.
Okay.
I will send it to WhatsApp.
Yes, please, you can share on WhatsApp.
Okay.
Thank you.
No, sir. I did not send this one to you.
Oh, no, my God. I'm awfully sorry.
It's okay, sir. This technical issue usually would pop up once in a while.
This is becoming more than technical issue. Sunday did not prepare himself well for it.
He's able to send it to me either via email or WhatsApp. We should be able to upload some.
He's doing that right now.
Okay, sir. Let's keep the names and emails coming. Thank you, Dr. Lincoln, for the National Biotechnology Research and Development Agency, Nigeria. Nice to have you here.
I send it from the WhatsApp. No, it's not.
Because you want to go home. You have embarrassed the poor man.
Sir?
Let's keep the emails and our names. We want it on certificate. Let's keep it rolling in. Thank you. Okay, I have received it. Femi Aderemi, could you please help us share the slide and forward it to you? Dr. Oladikosa, could you please unmute? Okay, over to you, sir. So we'll upload it from our end. If we can just do some more, share some more background into your works while we await your slides, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much. The title of the seminar is Indigenous Forest Conservation and Innovations in Building Resilience to Climate Change. We all know that climate change is impacting on most of Africa, particularly the whole world, and with very serious economic impacts, negative economic impacts. It is important that we look at what is happening. It is important that we look at what is happening. This is why I'm really happy to be associated with Images Initiative on this subject. Nigeria's landmass approximately is 903,800 square kilometers, with over 7 distinct ecological zones, each one endowed with diverse natural resources. The Earth's climate pattern has never been without fluctuations. We all know that. But these are little fluctuations which are not usually large. Our crops, the resulting climatic conditions have created and nurtured the human race and all the other species on which the Earth system depends. In other words, we are physically and genetically adapted to these ranges. This has resulted into known climatic conditions, or our ecologies as we are seeing it today. Please show the ecological map of Nigeria. This is the ecological map of Nigeria. If you see what is there, you will know that things have really, really changed. We are now having a lot of arid zones covering the whole part of the north, with Sahel also approaching. If people say insurgency is also impacted by climate change, you should not doubt it. The far northeast area is really arid, and with aridity, there is poverty. And once poverty is there, you will find a lot of problems. So it is very, very important that we get climate change, we understand it very well, and do the best we can do. As FAO 2005 reported, desertification in the northern fringes will continue to advance as a rate of 0.5 kilometers per annum, with as much threatened by desertification.
Dr.
The present,
Oladipo,
yes, please.
can go on,
Yes,
please. I
please.
think your network was a bit down. You can go on.
It's failing.
It is now clear, sir. It is now clear, sir.
Okay. COP Africa particularly drives climate change by promoting and planting trees and vegetables in communities, schools, and cities for carbon offset, promoting indigenous tree species and ecosystems, mobilizing youth and communities for tree planting, supporting green entrepreneurship and ecological restoration. The goal of COP Africa is to build greener, more resilient cities and communities in Nigeria and across Africa, rooted in indigenous knowledge, powered by innovation, and sustained by community action. Today, all ecological bells have been reduced, as I said earlier, and this will continue. And as I showed you the ecological map of Nigeria, you will see that things are really changing. Substantial projects have been designed by the government and international organizations and also implemented on Nigeria's forest resources management. UNDP in particular has done quite a lot, which we have been able to work together with. In all forestry sectors, with data generated and conclusions made. We all agree on forest conservation as a factor for sustainable environment. And because it is the reservoir for water, soil, and nutrients on which plants or crops depend, the desk review on LIEMP concluded that a program with poverty reduction focus should be designed to address the 4 strategic environmental objectives. This is why what we are doing today, what I'm talking about today, is putting my focus on poverty. And if you remember, I mentioned that poverty is the major cause of insurgency in the north. Strategic environmental objectives for successful sustainable forestry development. Maximize the use of Nigeria's renewable natural resources so that their generative capacity is not jeopardized and the negative impact on the poor is minimized. Secondly, minimize the depletion of non-renewable resources so that sufficient savings in human and social capital is ensured for the benefit of all, specifically the poor and vulnerable group. Minimize pollution and its attendant negative impacts on the environment, human health, and ecosystem. Decentralize the responsibility for managing natural and financial resources to community level so as to establish local ownership of program resources invested and to build local government capacity. The poor carbon consciousness is a major problem, creating the will and action to combat climate change at all levels in all local governments and areas. if we don't understand what climate change is, we will not understand poor carbon consciousness, or we will not agree with it. But the moment we agree with the consciousness that carbon is very important, then the will and action to combat climate change will work out very well. With continued population growth, massive deforestation, the unfortunate and archaic modes of livestock management, and in particular, the open grazing system being practiced in Nigeria, there will be more negative impacts on our environment caused by climate change. If we do not create carbon consciousness and so generate viable combination of climatic change, combation of climatic change in our communities in Nigeria. I will give an example. Tola village is in Ido local government area in Ibadan. A local priest, pastor, convinced the people to cut down all trees in their forests and those directly in front of their homes. The people did. Over 60 mature shade trees were cut down in one single day. This is ignorance. We went to meet them and talk to them about the negative impact of this, because women sat down under these trees to prepare their egusi melon and to do chores in the house. But now they cut the place and all the trees down, and it is serious heat under the trees, nowhere to stay any longer. So I was able to convince them that it is not good to do that, that the pastor simply exploited their ignorance, and they agreed. And in the long run, they agreed. And so ignorance is one of those problems that is making carbon consciousness low. So we have to work. Your NGO has to work on this issue of people turning religion into these major climatic and environmental problems, putting all these things in them. Because this will continue. This will continue to happen. Danny Bound in 2013 emphasized the need to recognize the value inherent in research in botanic gardens in Nigeria. Why did she say that? We worked together in IITA, and she saw what was going on everywhere: deforestation and cutting down of trees and flora, unsustainable harvesting of forest materials for making medicines. She now said, Nigeria does not have an internationally recognized botanic garden. I said, no, UI is recognized. She said, no, the name of UI is not on the international list. And I talked to one of the professors in UI about this then. I hope he has done that. And also, the case of the flora of Nigeria has already been mentioned on the national red list developed by Professor Billy, Professor Chola Doye, and Professor Ola Adams. The three of them worked on forestry conservation and assessed their status in the forest. They were able to identify endangered tree species and listed them. The documents are there at the Forestry Research Institute of Nigeria for us to see. Please go on.
Go on.
Technology technological and ecological innovations related to technology. Gallery forests, all our rivers have been cleaned out, no trees around them or on the river, courses. A species like Brachystegia nigerica, Brachystegia euricoma are made for these ecologies. So we really have to look at these as part of your work on this issue. So we must look at seed production of species like Brachystegia and all whatnot so that we can start using them. The state, people are still making charcoal in the forest areas and they are bringing them into town. We are happy that they stopped exporting it to Netherlands and America some time ago, but unfortunately it has been allowed again. So charcoal is coming out, is going out, and is causing a lot of problems. What do we do about this? This alone is worth a lot of effort from your organization. What should we use for making charcoal in Nigeria? Wood or reconstituted wood, like corn, stems of corn and minor agricultural products. It can be reconstituted and made into very effective carbon for burning. Where should they be done? Clearly speaking, these sort of things should be done within local areas, villages, and so on and so forth. What species to use now? I'm thinking of green charcoal production. What do I mean by green charcoal production? Green charcoal is charcoal that is made from a known source. It may be exotic, it may be indigenous. So long as the indigenous species is plentiful, you can propagate it massively, then it can be done. Green charcoal has to be certified. So the certification system has to be put in place and the marketing system also put out so that we can have what we need to do. For this suggestion, eucalyptus, any species of eucalyptus is good. Why? Because they grow very easily, they grow fast, so that we can have 2-year cycles or 3-year cycles of harvesting, or we can have a situation wherein they are left for 5 years and compartments harvested from time to time. The certification system has been developed, and I think all we need to do is talk to the appropriate organizations to give us this system of tagging it and certifying it. If a certificate is not on your charcoal, it will be seized. So people, once it is done once or twice or thrice, people sit up and things will change. Marketing. This also has to be developed the way. Yes. Next slide, please. We are talking of greening. Greening depends totally on seed availability. If seed is not available, there cannot be any effort on greening, or the effort on greening cannot succeed. So we need seed banks. In IITA, I developed plantations, which today are seed banks. All the trees that are planted in IITA, seeds are sourced from within. And I believe also that at the Forestry Research Institute of Nigeria, a lot of seed are produced internally. The forest plantations, unfortunately, have been destroyed. So mature trees to produce seed are not available. For example, Triplochiton scleroxylon, which is the species I worked in when I was starting my work in forestry, all mature trees have been removed. The largest tree in UI Botanic Garden, unfortunately, was cut down also. So this species is threatened. But the trees that we planted, the 28 stock that we planted in IITA, are doing well, and they collect seed from them. It is important that we do this, or else there's going to be problems soon. Sustainable forestry business model. We need to develop a model for multi-tier agroforestry system. Many species will be mixed. Triplochiton is an emergent one. It grows tall, it will be on the first tier up. Polar nitida, which is Cola, will be down below, while Cola acuminata will also be down there. There are various species we need to put in to enrich the plantation. This is why we need to put in walnut to climb the stems and drop the mature walnuts when they are mature for harvesting. You don't have to climb. These days, people climb trees and pluck the walnut. Asala comes out now immature, and if you eat immature asala, you will know that you are eating immature asala, which is very unfortunate. In the forests of Cameroon, Netum africana is a vegetable that is very popular in the southeast of Nigeria. Netum is produced in the forest in Cameroon. We did a lot to have them planted in Nigeria, but Rojaliki produced cottons. He worked a lot on the cottons, but they did not succeed. My fear is that they are harvested by people who are used to this vegetable constantly, so they don't grow. So Netum africana is very difficult to cultivate in Nigeria, but we can do so in protected forests. Medicinal plants can be on the ground floor in the forest. Here, it stays there. A combination of all these plant groups in a standing forest, even half an acre of forest, which is multi-tier. If you go past IITA on the east side, you will see that the forest trees have turned themselves into tiers. There is the topmost one, then the middle one, and then the ground ones. Down the ground cover is still there. So you can identify 4 layers. This is very, very important that we understand this and want it to and keep them to be. Please go slowly, please. Policies and programs from the Ministry of Environment in Oyo State. Oyo State has a very strong Department of Forestry, and with very experienced people there. And all we need to do is that policies and programs are developed by government through them. Support to forestry is very important. The state government of Oyo needs to support forestry development, because we are in the forest area and our trees are going. All we need are not there now. So the government has to come into it. Sustainable land use management, SLM, is one thing that is also very, very important for us. You must understand that soil can only live if you manage it well. If you don't manage it well, it dies. Tree cover, leaf drop, mulch, and all these things ensure that the soil is alive and it continues to go on to grow. It is very, very important that the government, they did, under the FADAMA program, did a study on the sustainable land management. It was a successful one. It was presented at the Department of Forestry, Department of Agriculture in Oyo State. That program can be driven up a little bit more so that we can have our soils providing us with the fertility that we need on a continuous basis. So government support to forestry is very, very important. Provide money for establishing the nurseries, protect the forest areas, so that we can continuously have seed from the banks, from the plantations, and then we can know exactly what is happening. If the environment dies, the state dies. So we really want to urge the state government, the Ministry of Environment, which I know is doing a lot of work, to do a little bit more to ensure that our soils are sustainably managed so that they cannot. If you go under the cocoa plantations, you will see the soil is covered by cocoa leaves. Vegetables, woro, sustainably growing under them. You harvest and harvest and harvest. If you don't remove the roots from the ground, your woro from the stem will continue to come. So soil management is critically and very, very important that we must do. Security. Going into the forest these days, we all know is very dangerous. We should try to get Amotekun, armed Amotekun, to go in. The federal government also to help us out by putting people out there to protect people. The major thing is to provide alternative systems for keeping livestock that roam around. We must do what government has promised so that we can have these animals on farm, fed and fattened. By doing that, the meat they produce is bigger, is faster, it produces more quantity, and people are happier to find good meat in the markets, not the ones that walk 500 kilometers in a year, 1,000 kilometers in a year to come to market. By the time it gets to market, there's no more flesh on the animals. So we have to do this. Security is very important for us so that we can do all these things that we are doing. State government's role in forestry innovation. It is important that state government does what we did, what was done for us in the past. We traveled out for short courses. We saw what was going on outside. Let us start from around here. Universities, NGOs can float courses new staff in forestry departments should be allowed to attend so that they can improve what they have in their heads. Just like we had this opportunity in the past, they should be allowed, they should be given the opportunity also to become experts in their fields. It's very important. Training and training and training. What the civil servants call in-service training is very important. So we have to do, the government has to do things like that so that innovations from outside can be brought in to enhance our own system of forestry. I remember in the past, we went to Ghana to train people on vegetative propagation, and it worked out very well. In about a year, they were also producing their own. In Kenya, we did that in the villages in Kisumu area. They also started producing from all these things. So state governments should support and the people, staff to attend and get acquainted to new innovations in forestry. Next, please. Next, potentials of problems from present approach. Poor carbon consciousness. I mentioned this earlier. Poor carbon consciousness is people do not know that carbon is collected through carbon dioxide and stored in the stems of trees. As you harvest the tree, you cut them out, we lose a lot. And by the time we lose all those ones, we are in trouble because there's no more carbon. Carbon is burnt and released, and climate change will continue to accentuate. Poor carbon consciousness has to be looked at. Poor understanding of species for sustainable development. I visited a particular forest program in Katsina a long time ago, and I started seeing high forest tree species being raised. I asked, what do you want to do with this? He said he's going to do plantation. Why did you identify these, deploy these? Only they are the seeds that were available, so we brought them from south. I told him, these species are not for your ecology. You need to get species that are adapted to that area. The acacias, Acacia nilotica, and all these other acacias, which have multiple values. Livestock can eat the fruit, can eat the leaves, and that is what should be. Here also, poor understanding of species is one thing that is affecting us. Parkia biglobosa, Lophyra alata are two very important tree species that I will use as examples to us. Parkia, please go back to Parkia. Parkia is very, very important. It is the seed that we use to make iru. If you understand what I'm saying, the price of iru in the markets has become very, very, very high. And when you taste iru, it is not the iru that we tasted in the past. Now, the seeds are not mature. They don't wait for the fruits to mature so that they can extract the seed from that yellow pulp. They extract when the yellow pulp is not well made. And this affects the quality of it. Unfortunately, again, the mortar carvers, the producers of mortar, although they harvest Parkia biglobosa and use them to make pestles, to make mortar, and to make other things. this makes the whole thing very, very unfortunate, because the mother tree that is flowering, giving pollen to bees, nectar to bees, are killed and used to carve. Even the shea butter tree also is used for carving. This is very, very unfortunate. Let us look at the indigenous knowledge in Yoruba land. They use appropriate wood for appropriate things. The igi omo is very, very good for carving drums. If you use it to carve drums, it doesn't spoil, it stays for a long time. You can hit it, you can bounce it on the ground, nothing will happen to it. So igi omo is a specialized species for making drums and all these things. It is very important. Lophaira alata is the West African ironwood. Unfortunately, it starts from around Ore towards Benin and to the south. Today, they are almost all gone. They have been harvested to make railway sleepers. They don't use them anymore now. They use iron because it is no more available. And this is very unfortunate. We have to work on getting Lophaira alata back into the forest, because it is one wood that if you use it to do whatever you want to produce, it never gets spoiled. It stays for a long time, many, many years. In the GRAs that they demolish now, if you go in there, if you find Lophaira alata there, it is there. Most houses in Oyo State were built by the local government or by the Oyibos in the past, using Lophaira alata, Iroko, and appropriate wood species that are still standing today. We need to understand what we are doing, to be able to know that wood is very important. Now, many species can be produced as monoculture because they are high value and they are targeted towards something, which is production. But when it comes to others, monoculture is not good. Melina in monoculture, yes, in 1965, they started using Melina and growing Melina. In 1930, at Olokemeji, they brought thick Tectona grandis, and that also fast growing, will copies very well, and they started using it. In fact, if you go to Olokemeji today, you find stumps still being harvested by people, and they are still there. We need to do these ones in monoculture like they did in the past, but this must change. Next slide, please. We need to understand what we are doing and to do them right. We must understand the ecological requirements of our trees. Poor knowledge of species is affecting us a lot. Mangrove species have to be identified as mangrove species. High forest species have to be understood as high forest species. Dry forest, savanna, and arid zone species have to be identified as that. If you go to the Department of Forest Resources Management in UI, you will find a book written by one of the first head of department there. He listed inexhaustible number of savanna trees. From that, the list is so long that you will be able to find whatever species that you want, starting from the derived savanna to the high forest, to almost everywhere. The book is still available in UI. If you go to the library in UI, you will get some 2 years ago, they heaped them out when they cleaned out one of the offices. The books were on the ground out there. People were helping themselves to copies, but I'm sure they will still be available in the library in UI. If you go, you'll be able to get what you want. Next slide, please. Poor indigenous knowledge that I've already treated. Education and enlightenment is very, very important so that we can understand the species and what they are. Community engagement and youth initiative towards afforestation. Diversity, specialization. Now, this College of Forestry had an open day, or they had a period. I was there also, and I gave a talk. What I said was that we must diversify a range of specializations. Arboriculture is the science of taking care of trees in the urban areas. Take care of the trees in the urban area, and the trees will do very well. I remember in 1983, when Abuja was being established, the head of Abuja municipality then asked from the director of FRAME, and some of us were made to go there, and we recommended tree species. All we did was to go there and look at what was there, because they had not started terrible harvesting. Prosopis africana was there, plentiful, and a lot of colorful trees. Dophyra, the savanna type, was there, and we were able to say plant indigenous tree species, but they wanted exotic ones for diversity, which was good. So they did that. So we must seed production departments. The Oyo State Forestry should cordon off certain areas. I know some people want species seed of Danta. They can't find it anymore. Danta and very important forestry species. They can't. But if you go into Cocoa Research Institute in their high forest zone, which was not touched in the past, you can still find these trees flowering there and fruiting. So you can deploy seed from these people from there to what you want to do. Seed production is a business that youths can engage in. If the seed is not available, the seedlings cannot be available, and a lot of problems can start on reforestation. So we need to do all these things. Review plantation development systems to mimic natural forests to encourage early faunal entry. Food tree species such as Nuclear dideriki. Nuclear is a very important tree species for attracting animals to your forest. The fruit has very good aroma, and 10 meters to where a nuclear tree is standing and in fruit, you will smell it. That is why you see that bats don't miss the tree anywhere it is, because of the seed that is good. People eat the fruit, but here in the Southwest, we don't touch it. But if you go to the Middle Belt area, you will find that they eat it at all. I mean, they eat it a lot. So nuclear and all other species should be taken and planted. Now, I said mimic natural forests. Natural forests are different from monoculture. Monoculture is one single species with a thin line of values. But when you mimic natural forests, you are doing what we did in IITA about 15 years ago. We have a program there that we call Ground Experiment. If you find Kunle will show you where this experiment is. In 15 years, even in 20 years, a forest has been produced, has been created. 5 different species were scattered within the plot, not one single one. And the spacing, before we got there, we went, John Peacock, myself, Denny Bound, and all the other people looked at the natural spacing. In 1976, the Federal Department of Forestry under Chief A.M. Oseni did a side-looking radar survey of the southern forests. He got onto Zaria area. What he did then is what we can look at today to say this is how trees were in natural distribution. You can see that an emergent and a low-tier tree and mid-tier tree, they come together. Ecologically, they find their level. They grow together, do everything together. Leaves from Obeche, leaves from Terminalia everensis, leaves from Terminalia glaucescens, leaves from ficus species, all come down to give a composite mulching material that ensures that the forest is forest, not just industrial forest like the monocultures are. We have to understand what nature does, what nature is doing, and we get all these things right. In IITA, we planted trees at distance from each other, and they all went, we planted them. Today, as I said, get to IITA, say you want to see the ground experiment, they will show you the ground experiment near the lake, and the original designs is there also. He will show you, because we want to encourage people to do these things. IITA Forest Unit started using this system in Olokemeji. A fantastic experiment, not experiment, development. All these trees are growing well. Kunle will tell you what is happening. Every day, he will go to Olokemeji religiously, like he was doing in the long past when I was training him in Senrad, which he found very difficult. Today, it is not difficult. He's a master of forestry. He's a master of forest systems. He's a master of development in forestry. So I'm proud of him today, and I'm sure he also will really love it. Once the composite forests are done, when you mimic the natural forest, where about 10 types of species are within 1 acre of land, different spacing, and then underneath you find some other things. And as I said earlier at the beginning of this talk, you will find climbers that go up, climbers that the Hausas harvest to make sponge, and the other one that produces walnut, and various other things also. There is one that we call Ato, which grows on large stems. This has become a very important vine for treatment of leg pains in people. They collect the vine, do whatever they want to do, and put it into shea butter, and it treats them. It relieves them from pain naturally. not artificial chemicals. This is an extremely important development. And you can see that in a small forest area, all these are happening. And in a short while, animals come. It is common to say, if you want a bird, don't buy a cage. Just plant a tree or plant trees. Birds come there. Different types of birds come. If you talk to the head of the forest unit in IITA, Wale, Dr. Wale, he will tell you exactly what is happening now with birds in IITA. Whatever in other areas, they are not safe. So they find refuge in IITA campus. By the water, they go there, stay there. Some birds come from Uganda, some come from Sweden, some come from very far areas. They spot the place and go down. They used to go to Agodi Gardens when Agodi Gardens was preserved. Today, Agodi Garden is no more there. So long traveling birds don't come there anymore. If they go there, they see tractors walking and they run away. So it is very important that we do what we need to do to get the natural reforestation effort working very well. We can green this country, we can green the country effectively too, but we have to do it right. We have to, I hope, I will talk to the IITA systems so that we can have a sort of training for people who want to come from forest areas to come and see the ground experiment and have training on them. Or Kule and his colleagues there will be able to do a short training, definitely so. This is the layout, the sort of layout on the slide that you are watching. You see how the trees have been spaced out. In the side-looking radar pictures that Chief Hosseini did in 1976, this was the arrangement that we had. Some are in straight lines, others in triangular form, but this is the nature's arrangement, and which shows some trees are there that give a lower canopy, others will give a tall canopy. The ones that are tall, very tall, you find birds that crows go there more than the doves that stay around the house or other species. Wale will be able to tell you about birds. I don't know anything about birds. Next slide, please. Thank you very much for what you have heard from me. I want to apologize for the beginning when we were outside here and we had to run inside because of rain. And then the whole thing was disrupted. We had to get ourselves together, drank some water, settle down to have the whole thing back. So please, thank you very much for being attentive. We will make sure that next time we talk, there's not going to be such things happening. Thank you very much.
Wow, thank you so much, Dr. Ladipo. Dr. Laide, I don't know if you want to chime in here. I don't know if you want to say anything at this point. Before we start taking questions, Mrs. Pamela, yeah, I've seen your hand. Please, if you have questions, you go first, ma. Laide, do you want to say anything, sir?
Yes, sir. I just want to thank Dr. Ladipo, our daddy, actually. You know, when we were reading his resume, especially if I was born when he finished his PhD. So you can imagine, you can imagine that. So it's our, so when we have someone like him, we don't call him doctor or professor, we just call them Baba. So, Baba, we want to appreciate you. I will find time to visit you. I'm trying to establish some things around me too, but maybe I need to learn from you. So I just want to say thank you and leave the participant to ask questions. I don't want to ask questions at this point. Thank you so much, Baba.
Thank you very much. No, not Papa this time. Just Dr. Ladipo is okay. Don't make me feel too old.
Okay, so thank you once again, Dr. Ladiko. Baba, I would like to entertain some questions. So, Mrs. Pamela, please, you can go on mute and ask your question, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon once again. Pamela Lady is my name. So I have two questions now. The first question is, when the ecological map of Nigeria was projected, I was really scared because the last time when the Sahel area was just about 1 centimeter on the map, and now it has gotten to this level. Now, thank God the moderator of this webinar is the coordinator of carbon offset project. Now, in a situation like this, that, you know, this desert is really encroaching, it has gotten to an alarming state. Now, how do we come into that? Is it the insurgency that is actually responsible for this? And if we now want to plant trees, how do we go about it? And in one of, while you were also presenting my second question now, you mentioned about the cocoa trees. Yes, their leaves actually, you know, shade for it, for planting vegetables, war and cook. But one thing I've discovered is that under the cocoa tree is a very good habitation for vipers. And I know someone that has been killed. So for someone who wants to farm, and these are some of the challenges, I'm sure you won't encourage the use of pesticide or anything. So in terms of all these dangerous reptiles, how can someone go about it now? If you have a cocoa plantation, how do we go about it with all the risk involved like that? Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Pamela. The ecological map of Nigeria is worse than it was, that what I showed you now. It is worse than that. And a serious action is required by the Federal Ministry of Environment. We don't have to go and assess it again. What can we do to stop it is the major thing. If you look at the size of the Lake Chad, it is now 1/10 of its size today, 1/10 of its size. But look at what the IITA lake is like. The IITA has a system that is very, very viable. There is a wetland in the western part of it. Wetland is the breathing and the reservoir for rivers. The lake is there. That wet area is there, intentionally put there by the designer of the place. I've forgotten his name now. All these things are happening, and you can find that the lake will live for a long time. You can have too much water coming into it, and it will just go down. They use the water for domestic. There is a water treatment plant there. So everything that is used in the laboratory in IIT comes from that place. So if we come down to the community level on every aspect of what we do, we will be able to do exactly that. We will utilize all that we have. We will make them sustainable. The lakes will not disappear. The Agodi Lake now will go. It will go because of developments around it. It will go. So when it becomes dry, you'll be shocked that the indigenous fauna and flora that lives in that area will all be gone with it. So we have to know what we are doing and plan well. The Federal Ministry of Environment, the State Ministry of Environment must meet. Let all the state ministries of environment take their concerns to them. They can now sit down and discuss and know what they want to do. And Lake Chad is gone. Insurgency is there. When it was drying up, people who liked it, they were growing maize there 4 times. But now, where they are growing maize is no more there. So what are we going to do about it? Government has to come into it. Don't ask UNDP to come and do it for us. Don't ask FAO to come and do it for us. Don't ask any of those people to come and do it for us. We must do it ourselves. If we don't do it ourselves, it will be very unfortunate. But I believe they will do it. What we are doing today, this lecture, although it didn't start on well because of technical hitches, but those who have listened to the part of it will know that we really have to do things by ourselves. You asked, how do we plant trees? I have said it. Monoculture is not good for us. Monoculture does not have the ecological values that we want in forestry. It is the multiple mixed planting system that we need to do now. It is very important. It is very, very important that we do that and make sure that we follow it up very well and we ensure that it works out very well. Mixed planting. If you go to IITA, you will see. If you want to do, we must be able to identify. A forestry student in UI must be able to identify emergent tree species, mid-tier tree species, ground-tier tree species, and the ground flora. We must know all these things and deploy them into work. If we don't do so, where do we find it? In the past, when they came to take us with scholarship to outside and worked with them, they were still working on us. So I particularly had a special opportunity to experiment here in Nigeria, work in the tropical glass house in Scotland, and come back. Supervisors that came with me at that time were 3, at least 2. They will come and see what is happening. One year we came and we went to Gambari Forest Reserve to look at the clones. Behold, I bought bananas for them. Our bananas are small, tiny, but very, very sweet. They tasted them and said, oh, this is special banana. It's not the type of banana that they see in their own supermarkets, because that is absolutely a 2nd, 3rd, 4th generation of Cavendish developed by British scientists, breeders, brought to Nigeria, taken to Cameroon, the Cameroonian aspect, the Nigerian aspect of Cameroon in the past, and it has gone all around. So we must know what we are doing, please. I'm not trying to frighten us, but we have to do knowledge-based. The knowledge is there that we should be able to use. Cocoa leaves, yes. Vipers won't come out in the afternoon. No. Let us talk to the reptile experts. They will come out at night and hunt. We don't want to poison them. We don't want to do anything. Leave them. When the cocoa farmers want to come and harvest, they know what they are doing. If one comes out, their cutlasses are so sharp that they cut the head and put it in their bag for dinner. Because snake meat is very, very good, but sustainably harvested, just like fish. We don't say that 10 people should go there and kill all snakes in that area. No. And your woro will also be there. Mrs. Pamela, I think I have tried to answer your questions.
Yes, thank you very much, sir. I love farming, but I'm always scared of reptiles. That's why I had to come up with that question. Thank you very much, sir.
Yes, they are very palatable. They are sweet to eat, but don't hunt them in 10s or 20s.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. Do we have any other question? Maybe one last question because of our time. Thank you so much, Dr. Ladipo. Said so much, so much. For me, one of the key takeaways, two things. Insurgency can be, actually ignited or has been even spurred by climate change, to a large extent. And one of your last line, don't ask UNDP, FAO to come and do it for us. We must do it ourselves. And I'm hoping that the training you talked about, maybe we can speak with Mr. Kunle and maybe those who are selected, participants here who are interested in it.
Yes.
Yes.
No, you have to write to the Director General in IITA.
Okay,
Write to the Director General in IITA requesting for it, and they will look at it. I'm sure they will do.
Okay, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Any final, one last question, any other question? Please, let's not forget to drop our names as we want them on our certificates and our emails as well, so we can mail them to you. Yeah. Any final question, comment, feedback, suggestion on what has been shared? It's super rich. It's a lot. I know down so much. It's also interesting to know that birds traveled as far as Uganda to Nigeria. Wow.
Sweden.
Wow. Interesting. Sweden, wow. That's interesting. To Haiti, because a space was, intentionally created and strategically and professionally created as well to mimic the natural habitat. But it has become a natural habitat for most of them.
Yes, it has.
We need to be able to replicate this type of dreams and visions and projects across as much as possible. So we stop destroying our ecosystems and natural habitat. Okay. So we have Mustafa. Please, you can unmute and ask your question. Thank you.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. I don't know if my network connection is excellent, so I was hesitant. It's been a very interesting session. I like the choice of the speaker, the presenter, because there is a gap. There is a gap between, I like the fact that the presenter, the speaker went all the way to the 1960s to trail what was the forests, historical facts about projects that have been done in the past and connecting it with what's currently tenable now. My question is, how do we scale this not just to people on Zoom meetings, but make it into modules and formal education? Because there is a lot of knowledge gap. I'm sure that he acknowledged that even during his presentation and the last take-home assignment for the organizers of this webinar. So I really thank everyone, especially Professor Olawale Olayide, who was my lecturer for sustainable circular economy. Thank you very much, sir, for organizing, and congratulations to the speaker and the organizers. It's been a very interesting webinar.
Thank you very much. I want to say a word now. Let us start from Eleele Lake. Eleele Lake is a study site that we should look at and see. Professor Okali, about 20 years ago, assessed siltation, the development of silting of that lake. He did the job, but I don't think anything has followed since that time. So Ele Lake itself is becoming smaller. When I was doing botany in University of Lagos, they took us in a boat to an island to study plant succession. And we were not many in the class. So everybody went and took a line, a transect, and started looking at what he was seeing. The plant that you could not identify, you collected them and brought them and all whatnot. And we did our reports, which is very good training. I want to see our universities taking our men. The University of Maiduguri taking our young men to Yankari, taking our young men to Baga, the University of Ibadan taking our young men to Ele Lake, making a case for Agodi Gardens and the lake there, so that the lake does not go. It can be integrated into the design of the estate that is being done now. They should do it, dredge it, put boats on it, put fish there, and let it be an addition to what is happening there as a development. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. I hope. Okay. Dr. Oladipo, have you landed, sir?
Yes, I have landed.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. And this is where we draw the curtains for today's section. This webinar has been an interesting one. Once again, a special, huge thank you to Dr. Oladipo for the honor to have you share from your wealth of experience. In fact, your wealth of experience is transgenerational. So there are probably 4 generations, including myself. And I know there are way younger people on this platform as well. I mean, learning so much, been inspired. Thank you, sir. First time I met you, I mean, I mean, I'm here to recover from it. You know, it was a long day with you in your house. And I know that this is something you've been doing for decades. Your interest in, forest, biodiversity, promoting biodiversity, and especially indigenous tree species. It's not something one can quantify. Thank you so much. And I also once again want to thank Dr. Laide for this privilege. Are we going to take pictures? So while we're talking about that, please, there's call for applications ongoing right now, Africa Graduate Mentorship and Coaching Program. So every young person here is, advised, encouraged to apply. Network facilitated by Images Initiative. Femi, you want to bring it up again? So let's just share and tell everyone about it. Yeah, for every young person, 20 years of age to 30 years of age. So you get assigned to a mentor if you're interested in research, graduate level, master's and PhD, and even postdoctoral candidates who are less than 40 years old can apply. So the theme is developing and improving capacity for assessing sustainable agri-food systems in Africa. That's the research team. So please, you can reach out for further inquiries, but all the details are here as well. And I'm sure it will be shared on all of Images Initiatives, WhatsApp platforms, and maybe email newsletter as well. So thank you so much. Maybe we should take pictures, please. Can we put on our videos? If you're still on, if you are in a space, you can put on your video, please. Let's see your handsome and beautiful faces. We are able to. I can only see, okay. We start Irium webcam. Femi, are you taking the pictures? Can we put on our picture? Okay, awesome. More people are putting on the pictures. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, can we have, oh, thank you, man. Can we have more people put on your videos, rather, your videos in another 10 seconds? I mean, we'll just take it.
Can you see me?
No, sir. Okay. No. Okay, we have 5 videos on here. If you are joining us, you have 5 seconds to put on your videos. Let's take this amazing picture and share, with the world. Are we ready? Can we smile, please? I can't see people smiling. Ready? Just a minute. Oh, okay, awesome. Thank you, Femi. Okay. So yeah, this is where we draw the curtains for this lecture. Thank you. Femi, is there a banner for the next webinar? Oh, awesome. Okay, so the webinar series continues. 31st of October, we'll be having the Africa Green Innovation School Program, Africa Robotics and Artificial Intelligence Network, Africa RAIN, under Images Initiatives. So the topic for this webinar is synergizing AI and robotics for a sustainable planet, coding green intelligence into the future. I'm sure you know AI, everything around the world right now is AI. We don't even know how far, what we can do with AI and where AI will take us to. So let's be a part of this. It's important to understand how AI is revolutionizing our world, and most importantly, how we can use AI as well to drive climate innovation. So till we meet again during the next webinar, it's bye-bye from my hand. Please, let's drop. Oh, Dr. Ladipo, somebody's asking for the slides. So I don't know if we are able to get it from you. If we can share it.
Yes, share, please. You can share.
Thank you,
You can
sir.
share. But they should wait and let me rearrange them.
Okay, sir.
Let me rearrange them.
Okay, sir.
Clean them up before you give to people who want it should request now. Then when we have finished doing that, you can now share with them.
Okay. Thank you, sir. So just drop your emails quickly if you're interested in the slides. And for those who haven't dropped their names for purpose of certificate, please, you can do that as well. Thank you. And let's have a splendid afternoon and evening ahead, depending on wherever we are, any part of the world. So the next webinar will be led by Dr. Ebenezer. So thank you. Let's have a fruitful evening. I need the slides. Okay. So, we're taking note of your emails. So let's have a splendid evening. Thank you. Bye, everyone.